Welcome back to the Gator Country TV Show, and we have a special segment coming up new now. This will be every week. It's called the Gator Country Roundtable. We'll feature media stars in the galaxy around Gayzone, and one of them today who joins us is Steve Russert of WRUF and also WFT, man of many, many assignments here in the Gator Nation. Steve, welcome to the Gator Country TV Show and the first Gator Country Roundtable.
Thanks for having me, buddy. Good to be here.
All right, guys, we're going to throw this wide open. Just going to have a little chit-chat now about what's coming up this week. This has been a remarkable last couple of days and a remarkable week leading up to the game of the year in the SEC. It is high drama, folks. We've got a big, big Saturday night coming up, and I know everybody's excited about it, including the media, Steve.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you've never been to Baton Rouge on a Saturday night, you're missing something because obviously it's very special. And I really think it has more to do with what the crowd does for LSU as opposed to intimidating opponents. Florida's done pretty well there historically, and I think Florida's going to do just fine there this Saturday, but it's pretty special when it's a nighttime game in Baton Rouge.
The atmosphere is second to none for a night game in the SEC in Baton Rouge. I mean, those fans will be pouring in this week on Wednesday and Thursday into Baton Rouge, and they won't sober up until game time.
You know, I can remember last year being there when I was going into the stadium and the Tiger Walk was taking place, and I got pinned up against the stadium. I'm telling you, I got claustrophobic. Myself and another writer, it was only because we knocked on the door and somebody opened it. We walked through the LSU locker room to get in. It was scary because those folks, there were probably, as you said on your radio show earlier this week, there were probably, who knows, 100,000 people outside the stadium 2 years ago. Steve.
And that'll be just like that this time. This is a huge game, obviously, for LSU. They have not played well, though, and that's what I'm kind of interested to see how they come out and play. If you look at the numbers, they're not good in much. They're last in the SEC in offense. They're so defensively, but they're winning. That's the most important thing.
You can't beat winning, and this kind of reminds, LSU this year kind of reminds me of Florida in 2006, doing just enough to win and not really great in anything, and maybe a team that's picking up steam as it goes.
And people talk about speed, and they got to the holiday too. They can fly as well. So they got great athletes. They can make plays. I think their defense is suspect, though, guys. What do you think?
I agree, and especially pass defense-wise, I think they're very suspect. And, you know, when you look at what they've got NFL talent. They've always had NFL talent, but for some reason, even under John Chavis, they're just not clicking. Something just isn't right. I think if Florida – now, who knows if Tebow's going to play, but I still think even if Brantley plays, Florida can do some damage against this defense.
I think they're not as strong in the middle of the line. You've gone from Marlon Favorite, Ricky Jean-Francois, and Tyson Jackson in there to freshmen. And let's face it, the freshmen may be great one day, but right now they're still freshmen. And they're young guys, and they're going up against Mike Pouncey, Marquise Pouncey, and Mo Hurt, three maulers in there.
Yeah, we got, you know, just 2 years ago, what a remarkable football game that was. 5 times LSU goes for it on fourth down, 5 times LSU makes it. And, you know, Ryan Stamper had the foot of Jacob Hester. Had he held him back a short, just another foot, Florida wins that game and things change. But, you know, it could come down to a fourth down, a big play, and I'm sure this will happen this weekend. All right, you brought up the subject. Tim Tebow, we don't know at the taping of this show exactly if he's going to play. John Brantley's been prepping for it. I think we all think John Brantley can do a very good job at the position of quarterback. But let's put it on the line, fellas. First, you, Steve. Can Florida win the football game in Baton Rouge with John Brantley playing quarterback?
Short answer, yes, they can. 2 reasons. One, I think Brantley will do well if he's called upon to play. And secondly, the Gator defense, I think, really comes to play here. You know, for all that Charles Scott did last year, what did he do against Florida? Very little. And again, their running game has been very suspect. Their offensive line has been very suspect. I think Florida can win this game with John Brantley.
Oh, I think there's no question about it. John Brantley has to go into this ball game with one understanding. I don't have to win the game. I have to manage the guys around me and put them in position to make plays. If he puts the playmakers in position to make plays, Florida wins.
Urban Meyer saying in his press conference, John Brantley is not going alone to Baton Rouge. He'll have 10 other guys on the field with him. The key to this game, in my opinion, if Brantley is the player and the starter in this game, is obviously defense, field position. Don't turn the football over. They're good enough on defense to be able to stop those guys. As we saw, Georgia shut them down pretty well for more than 3 quarters. I think Florida's defense, number 51, is a pretty good player. When people talk about this being Tim Tebow's team, this is also Brandon Spike's team as well. All right, quickly, guys, give me a result. What's going to happen Saturday night?
I like Florida. LSU's got to show me what they can do. They've not been impressive. The win at Washington maybe a little bit better than what people thought at the beginning, but even if Tebow doesn't play, I think Florida ekes one out at night in Baton Rouge.
You know, the odds makers say Florida is a 9-point favorite, which means that you add 7 points for what LSU gets as a home field advantage. That means odds makers think Florida's 2 touchdowns better. With Tebow, maybe even more than that. I think Florida has everything it takes to win big, but I think it's going to be close simply because I think that LSU crowd's going to keep LSU in the ball game.
I'll give you my thoughts. If Brantley's a quarterback, I think Florida wins the game 21-17. If number 15 is a quarterback, I think Florida wins at 28-10. Just my thoughts about Saturday night. Thanks for being here, Steve. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, buddy.
We'll all be in Baton Rouge on Saturday night.